looking as sharp as ever as well, and an annoyingly good tan for the start of the season. Great to have you here. You're more than welcome. How are we placed? How are the Latics placed heading into the new season?
Hello. I would lie when I would say that we had a perfect preseason. I think we had a decent preseason, our first preseason together. We had a lot of changes in the staff over the summer, so we needed a little bit of period to find to each other, to learn about each other. I needed to find out how much we can push that team. Obviously it was a different team what I had before. Average age was much higher here, and obviously we got a lot of work done. I think for some players it was a little bit of culture shock, what we went through. We lost one or two, what was not good. Also some players over the summer where we had a change in the medical apparatus, didn't return from holiday fully fit. There were still some issues what is then carried on into the pre-season, but that is all done now. I think in the last 2 weeks everybody returned. The training, the level of quality in training is raising the day by day. Players getting in match form, and I think going to Germany, playing against a team like Paderborn, and winning there, I think is not a bad result at all, especially when you see how now Premiership clubs struggle against German opposition in pre-season.
Yes, we were talking just before we came on about Germany's strife in the World Cup. Juve still hasn't seen the...
I don't make that story.
No, he doesn't like to talk about it, he really doesn't. But you still haven't seen the Germany-Brazil game, have you?
No.
We're not going to show.
I was on the plane actually, so I have not seen it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just before we open it out to the room, Jonathan, a quick thought on you ahead of the new season. Actually, first of all, how are you getting on with the new gaffer?
Well, as you can see, we're ready to go for the new season. It's great to have somebody like Uwe in charge. He's so meticulous about every single detail. And he's built a squad that I feel this season is stronger than last season, both in quality and also character as well, which is really important. So yeah, we're looking forward to the new season. We can't wait for it to start on Saturday against Reading. I think we're something like second or third favourites to win the league, which would be nice. We had a fantastic season last season. We had European Tour and FA Cup semi-final and playoffs, but this year let's hope we can go one better in the league.
Every time I speak to you, I can sense what a passionate fan you are as well, and how much it means to you to get a successful Latics team. Let's open it out to the room. Greg, where are you? You're over there somewhere. Put your hand up if you want to ask a question tonight. Greg's at the back with a microphone. We'll get him moving. Doesn't matter if you're near him. We'll get him running left and right. Get his fitness up. Perhaps get him into the matchday squad this year. Anything you want to ask to either Jonathan or Uwe about the new season starting this coming weekend. I think we need to work on that turn of pace, Greg.
Hi, Uwe.
Hello.
Just wanted to speak about the Adam Forshaw situation here. I know it's only just happened in the past few days, but
I didn't expect it.
So I'll get straight in. A lot's been said from Brentford about our approach and everything like that. I'm just wondering if there's any progress on it. Is it true? Are we actually after it?
Yes. No, we put a second bid in. It's also rejected. That is where we are. Obviously, I work with the player. I rate him very highly. The player's on a contract with Brentford. I'm here tonight to talk about our players. I only can confirm that we put a bid in. We handled the situation professionally, like we always do. We have never commented on any bid. We have never leaked it to the press. You never comment about the player, you never comment about their manager in any way, and I think I'll leave it that way. So that is our way, how we will do business, and we will see how far we come.
Brentford, you've called those bids unacceptable. Why would they use that word, do you think?
You want me, Jonathan? No, I can't shy away. So I don't know. I felt we evaluate the player in terms of age, in terms of games played in the Championship, games played in League One. We compared the player with players like Murphy, who went to Leeds, with Westwood, who went into the Premiership. We compared it with similar cases, and I felt we put out two very respectful bids who, in our opinion, had been very tempting before. There was very tempting for Brentford. Obviously Brentford decided otherwise, and that is totally in their right. So that is where we are. And but I think we compared the bid with number players who went from League One into the Championship or Premiership, and I think we was well above that.
Let's take another question from the floor. If anyone's interested, just put your hands up. On a broader note, John, about recruitment, could you shed any light where we are now in terms of recruitment? Almost there, or a couple of more pieces in the jigsaw you would like to fill?
I think probably Uwe's probably better place to answer that one rather than me, but we've signed 6 players this season. We welcomed Emre Hughes from Manchester City, a very exciting talent, Welsh international. He started training with us today, and he's our 6th signing. We've obviously lost Jordi Gomez, which was a disappointment, a real blow, because I think we've all come to love Jordi finally last season. And of course, Jean Bossejour decided to go back home to Chile and sign for a club called Colo in Chile. And again, that was a disappointment, but we feel that overall, where we are now, as I said before, we're stronger. But I think there's still some work to do in building the squad that Uwe wants. As you heard, we are interested in at least one player, and we try to do our transfer business as it should be, privately and confidentially, and only reveal exactly what's happening when we sign the player and he's signed on the dotted line. We feel that's the right way to do it. Of course, there's more than 3 weeks to go in the transfer window, so no doubt there'll be fun and games before the 31st of August, and I'm sure we've not seen the end of transfer activity in Wigan Athletic.
You love it, don't you, the last 3 weeks of madness? Where are you, Greg? Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask the question, when the fixtures were released in June, 5 of the away fixtures were the longest distance, which are going to be played midweek, or Fulham games are going to be played on a Friday evening. Did the club object to those games? Because as far as the club's concerned, it's not fair on the supporters, and also from the point of view of the team, there's less fans at the game, which obviously gives the home team a big advantage.
The first point I would say is that really it's difficult to object to fixtures. Once the fixtures are out there, they're the fixtures that you get. You can't say, well, we don't want to go to Brighton on a Tuesday night, or we'd like to go on a Saturday. Unfortunately, the fixtures are what they are. Fulham was moved to Friday because of the boat race, and so we didn't have any say in that one either. But I think it is, well, I know it's a deliberate strategy by the Football League to have the long distance away games on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night rather than on a Saturday, and that's from feedback from football clubs who say that they prefer the local games, the derbies, the games within travelling distance for most of the fans, to be at weekends. because that's when they can generate the highest attendance. So it is a deliberate strategy, and when you think about that, I can understand it, because if we've got, like last season, Yeovil Town away, then we're not going to take that many on a Tuesday night, but we're not going to take considerably more on a Saturday. So I think the feeling was, from the Football League, I think it's a trial for one season, and I think that there is a good reason for it, and I think it will generate more love games on a Saturday, where there's more chance of more away fans going to the games, generate more atmosphere, and of course it's better for us. I'm sure you'll agree, to play Blackburn and Blackpool and teams like that on a Saturday rather than a Tuesday night. I think we'll take more fans to those games.
You, as manager, when the fixture list comes out in June and you look at it for the first time in the office and possibly plan where you will be picking up points where the games may be tougher, do you care who you play when and where? Because there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm not the manager to say, this game you get 3 points, there we go, we get 1, and there we will lose. I want to win every single game, and I'm not counting those. I'm not going. Our league is too competitive that we can say we're going to Blackpool or to other places and have guaranteed 3 points. We have to fight for every inch, and I think last season we have seen that. We had a fantastic run when I came in, and then we took the foot a little bit of the pedal, and then we lost. We got home a draw against Yeovil, and we lost home against Millwall. We lost home against Blackpool. Before we had the best home record since I came. So that shows me we have to take every game serious. We have to put the freshest, the fittest, the most motivated players on the pitch every single game, and to be competitive in our league.
So just come back on the question. I hope I'm not jumping the gun on this one, but the good news is, despite the long away trips on a Tuesday, is that we hope to have the facility, it's a Football League initiative, to actually show the games at the DW Stadium in the lounges. If we've got a long away game on a Tuesday night, it's not for every game, but certain games we'll be able to show the game as live in the South Stand, for example, and that's something we're investigating at the moment. So the long away trips on a Tuesday night, obviously we don't want to dissuade our fans from travelling to these games. We'd rather you be there, but if that's a facility that we can put on, and we're looking to do that, that's what we'll do.
Next question from the floor. Where are you, Greg? You're loitering at the back. Yes, sir, the Wigan shirt.
Hello, good evening. Hello, you there?
Good evening.
Could you please tell us why Grant Hall wasn't in the squad that went to Germany, and have you any plans to get rid of him?
Can you be a little bit more diplomatic?
The thing I love about Latics fans, they just beat around the bush all evening and then ask a really cautious question at the end.
I don't think you have a career in politics. No, after the season, I spoke to Grant, I spoke to his representatives. Then Grant returned to pre-season, we had another talk. Grant knows what we want, and we know what Grant wants. We try to find solutions. There's another 3 weeks time to find that, and that is where we are. At that moment in time, I'm planning with the players who was in Germany, and we see what happens in the next 3 weeks.
If Grant Holt got himself fit, in shape and showed desire to you, would he still have a future?
You are helping me, you know?
I might come and sit with you.
No, I think Grant and I, we are grown-up people. I mean, we are honest to each other. We had that talks, and I think we know exactly what we can expect from each other, and he made his opinion clear to me, and I represented the football club, and I made my opinion clear, and we didn't fall out. We see each other every day, the training's ground. But obviously, going forward, I have a clear vision how my team should look like.
On a more general note, this is just part of the game, Jonathan. I'm sure you see it all the time. It's a really, really short career for footballers. Managers and players come and go, and situations just need dealing with like this all the time.
Well, we would prefer not to have situations like this, but and I think that's obviously a situation that arises when you change managers, and this is the third year that we've done this fans forum, and then this is the third manager I've got sat next to me. But what I will say is that we've definitely got the right one this time. And to refer to Terry, he did ask the same question a year ago about signing strikers that were perhaps a little bit older than we normally do. And I did say to him, well, you know, one of us is right and one of us is wrong, so it looks like you were right, Terry. But no, when managers change, obviously the style of football that we play changes, and certain players suit certain managers, and certain managers perhaps concentrate more on the recruitment of the players to suit the style of football. To be fair to Owen, this time last year, I don't want to dwell on the past, but we had a very small squad before the season started, and we worked hard to get 12 new players in. We've done really well if all 12 would have worked. And Grant was the player that we signed to score us the goals to get back in the Premier League. And we all felt that, well, most of us. And I think that it's a shame that it's not worked out last season. I still feel that at 33, a fit Grant Holt is an asset and has a value. So it's a problem that is part of football, I should say, George, and we'll deal with it. I'm sure we'll find a solution before the season starts.
So the lesson Uwe seems to be, if you want to stay longer than a year, don't come and do these fans forums. Where are you, Gregory? There we go.
I wasn't going to ask a question actually, but never mind. An easy one for you, Uwe. When we played the Siskas, or whatever we call it,
the Besiktas, okay.
Why did you move the change the technical area? You swapped places. Is that going to be something for the whole season or just a one-off?
Yes, it will be for the whole season.
What did you do? Just remind us.
I was thinking the linesman is closer to my bench, and I can have now and then a quiet word with him. That probably could help us. Now, I think you're playing sometimes with things around. I've had it's a new season, a new start. It's true, I felt last season that the opposition bench had a very much influence on the linesman, and I felt we playing home, we should have that advantage. That is one of the reasons. Yeah.
Very good question, sir. Very well answered as well. More questions from the floor? Yes, sir. Question from the right hand side.
Evening, Uwe. Good evening. This year's championship is going to be very competitive. Present company accepted with ourselves. Who do you expect, in your own opinion, is going to be challenging with us?
I think managers always saying the next season will be the hardest ever, but then you see what the amount of money has been spent so far, and knowing all the whispers and rumours what's going around and what might happen next 3 weeks for certain clubs, I think next season will be very, very competitive. I think the clubs who came from underneath, from League One, they are much, in my opinion, they will not go down. Is it Wolves, is it Brentford? They will not go down. Rotherham will be very, very tough at their home place to beat. So clubs like the three clubs who came down anyway, must be called favourites. Derby, Middlesbrough have a sort of relationship a little bit to Chelsea. They will get more Chelsea players in to sooner closer we come to the season. Forest has one of the strongest squads. Now they sold 2 players, but I think they have money to replace them. So it will be a very, very tough league, and I think I told my players all the time, I said, don't worry, because when we had that defeat in Düsseldorf, I said, we're not preparing only for the first game of the season, we're preparing for the 10 months, and I think that is needed to be 10 months competitive. And you saw last year with Burnley and Leicester, and they didn't have big up and downs through the season. It was very stable and had a fitness level and the level of organisation and camaraderie and spirit in their team that carried them through 10 months. And that is a little bit where we want to be and what we want to achieve. And I think when we get that and get maybe 1 or 2 additions who really can improve us on the top of the pyramid, I think we have a very good chance.
Uwe, as a manager at this level, you've obviously displayed a very good, very strong knowledge of all the other teams, the other clubs in your league, which you have to do. How much time do you have to spend as manager of this football club learning about the teams you've just outlined there and who the rivals will be, how they play, who their big players are, what threat they pose you?
I think that was a real problem when I came to the club because I've been in League One, so I had prepared for a January transfer window for League One players for Brentford. So unexpectedly, I came to Wigan Athletic, and then I had to look for players in a completely different shelf. I needed to see first what I had available, and it was a very tricky situation for me because we needed to start winning games immediately to make it happen to end up in the playoffs. Now I got stuff in, I got head of recruitment in, I got a chief scout in, I got my people around me now who I trust completely in terms of match analysis, opposition analysis, player analysis. So last season we had 62 games, obviously, that you understand I cannot watch every opposition the week before, or I'm relying on the feedback of people who I can trust, and now I have those people in place. What allows me then to also focusing a lot of my players, because I believe I want to focus mostly on us, because we have to be dominant and we have to win games, and another opposition has to look after us, so we not have to look too much after another opposition. So that is the way I want to go into the season. Obviously we do our homework and we be very respectful to any team we play against, but the main focus is about us.
It's a very interesting point actually, isn't it, Jonathan? You bring in a clearly very talented, hard-working manager, but from a different league. So his knowledge, his expertise is of the players and the clubs in that league. Is that something you were considering when making the appointment?
Well, he didn't do too bad, did he, really? I think he would have had the average points that we had on the Uwe all season would have been promoted automatically. So clearly Uwe hit the ground running, and I think that's testament to the work he did at the training ground with the same sets of players that we had in the first part of the season. And so it is a consideration because it's a big part of the game now. A huge part of the game is the detail that goes into studying opponents, studying opposition players, making sure the players are fit, making sure the players avoid injury or recover from injury as soon as possible. So the backroom team around the manager is so important these days. One of the days when it was a manager and Kenny Banks sat next to him. These days it's all about the team, and we have to compete against our rivals to make sure that we get that 1% extra from our players, because that can make all the difference between being promoted to the Premier League and staying in the Championship. It's a balance, of course, because we have to make sure that the finances stack up, and we have to ensure that we can afford to get the best team around Hoover. But that's what I feel we've done, and as I say, that's very, very important to the manager and to this club.
I think it's also important, I would add that I said all the time to my players, it is the longer we stay in the Championship, the more we have to adapt to life in the Championship, and this club did a fantastic job to be 8 years in the Premiership, and last season was for some players a little culture shock. The Football League is different, and we all want to get out of this Football League as soon as possible, and but we have to also, what Jonathan says, we want to be as best prepared, we want to have the best staff, we want to have the best players, but we also have to adapt life in the Championship, and the parachute payment gets lower each year. So and then when you see the recruitment we did this year, we couldn't afford to have two experienced, established left backs. We could have one, and then we had to bring in a younger one. It's the same on the right back position. We had to bring in a younger one. And that is adjusting life to Championship. Yeah? And that is our job now, with the expertise we have in our coaching team and fitness department, to develop those young players to take over natural from the ones who are now in front of them. Yeah? And that is, for me, important to tell the fans. We have to adapt to life in the Championship, because we run this football club in a responsible way. We want to go up, that's our dream, but we have to be responsible to you guys as well, because this football club should stay on for decades.
How fierce is your own ambition to manage in the Premier League?
Yeah, that is all what I want to do. I felt when this offer from Wigan Athletic came, I think that was, for me, that is what I wanted. This club, after I've spoken to the chairman, after I've spoken to Jonathan, gave me everything what I was looking for, plus the fact that I could live home again with my family. And I think, and I'm still feeling the same. I think the club is backing me, the chairman is backing me. We have money, we spend money so far, but I think we spend it wisely. We got a lot of younger players, we got Bosman players, but we also spend good money on Oriol Vieira. We have a respectful bid in for Adam Forshaw. So I think we are on the way to put a very competitive team in for this season, but also for the next year already. I'd like to work under those circumstances. Like I had to do work in Brentford, and Brentford was a clear 3-year plan. I'm not saying that here's a 3-year plan, but I had to develop players to a level where they can win promotion. And here now I still have an experienced squad of players, but I have now, my duty is the younger ones who are coming in, to develop them, to push the older ones to a new level, what is needed to win promotion. And the short line of communication to Jonathan, the short line of communication to the chairman, that is what I want. I don't want to go to the sporting director, to the board, and then to the chairman, and no decisions will be made. Here is a clear line of short ways, and we can make decisions quick when it's needed. I think that is important. I enjoy myself. Comes a new training ground in the future, but it was a fantastic stage for us to move on, not only for the first team, also for the academy. So the future looks bright in our football club.
More questions from the floor for Uwe and Jonathan? Yes, sir, the lime green.
Well, Uwe, can I just thank you for all you did for us last season? It was a great season in such a short time. I think we should all stand up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another question. How long is Sean Maloney one of the eight? Is he?
Oh, Sean is a massive, big player for me this season, and he's back. He trained today full. He will be available for us on the weekend. I'm not sure he will start because I think he's a little bit behind, but he's back full fit. Came through today 90 minutes. Good session, a hard session. He came through it no problem. I think he is to keep Shaw on the field, keep him healthy, keep him a light in his head. I think that's a big challenge because he is so influential in our offensive play. He can make us click. He can create things against teams who stays deep, putting a lot of people behind the ball. He's massively important to us.
Totally agree. Do you see him behind the front striker, or sometimes you play him like?
We have two systems we worked on the whole summer. Like we also finished last season, the main system 4-3-3 and alternative system 3-5-2. And 4-3-3 is probably playing on the left, coming in on his right foot, or he plays in a 4-2-3-1 just behind the striker. In the 3-5-2 he's playing as one of the three in midfield, so we have to get him in the centre of our play. We have to give him the ball as much as we can to get his talent out.
And finally, how did you get so much out of Jordi Gomez that no other manager could do?
I think Jordi...
I rate him as a player, but he's always seemed slow, no sprint in him, but you seem to get something extra out of him.
First of all, I got excited to working with Jordi because I think Jordi is an extremely good footballer. He understands football and he thinks about football. I had many discussions with him, it's just footballing discussions, and I enjoyed that because I learned from him. And obviously for him it was important to buy in our philosophy at times to play quick and move quick, and obviously we replicated that in our training session, and he never missed training. He was always on training, and he understood that the regime will benefit his way of play, and I think that happened. And in general, like Jonathan said, we offered him a good contract. We felt Jordi was very happy with the offer, but obviously we couldn't compete with a Premier League offer, and we all were sad to see him go, because I think going forward he could have been a very important player for us, because he can create goals, he can score goals, and he has the football knowledge to make a game quick and maybe sometimes slow it down, and what is important. But we wish him all the best. I think as long as I was here, he was a very good servant for the football club, and obviously you respected him as well. You made him player of the year, and we wish him all the best.
Jonathan, just a final point on Jordi Gomez. How disappointed were you that he went, and was it just a simple case of, had you gone up, you could have kept hold of him, but you didn't, and you couldn't compete with bids, the Premier League bids, when you weren't a Premier League side?
Yes, unfortunately it's as simple as that. Jordi would have stayed with us if we'd done the Premier League. He really enjoyed playing his football here. He'd been here 5 years under 3 different managers, and I do believe we did see the rest of him last season. He was a top championship player. He was a match winner, and we really did push hard to keep him here. Unfortunately, as you say, we can't compete with Premier League wages, and that's a fact of life at the moment, and unfortunately had to go. Our job now is to make sure we replace Jordi and Jordi's goals this season and make us stronger.
Greg, you've gone to another postcode by the looks of it over there. Right at the back, yes sir.
Hi, the 2 teams that got automatic promotion last year, Burnley and Leicester, they had quite potent strike forces in terms of sort of 30 goals across their front two. My question was, how important do you think it is to have a goal scorer that can sort of hit 20 goals a season? And have we got that goal scorer in our ranks? And if not, where do we see the goals coming from this year?
Has the microphone not again?
Yes.
No, it's back. You were just drifting back to your days as a striker, weren't you? That's what
No, I didn't want to answer the question. I felt last year we was missing that sort of player. Last season in many games we dominated the games, but we had a lot of momentum in the final third. We crossed a lot of balls into the box, but we never really had that poacher in the box, that box player who comes on the end of it. We very seldom scored goals in the 6-yard box, and we scored spectacular goals. We scored some of the combination goals we scored was breathtaking, but the easy goals, the goals you should normally get easier, we never got, and I think we reacted, we saw that, we brought Orioliera, who I believe is that sort of box player. He's attacking crosses, he is very good in the box. He's not a counter-attack player, but he is a player who knows where the goal stays, and he has the instinct for goals. It's completely right what you said with Leicester and Burnley. We looked around, and we got Oriola, and we're still looking around. But you also have to see what sort of players are available. When you want to have a proven championship goal scorer, you have to pay over 20 grand each week, and you have to pay between 3 and 11 million pounds. So, and that answers your question. So the market for strikers is completely overheated, and we have to find other solutions. We looked at the Graben had only one successful season. He costed 3 million and 25 grand a week. McCormack, you know about McCormack. We looked at Ochoa, Brighton, out of our range. So there are certain players we can't afford, and but we have to find solutions, because the difference between going up and not going up is goals. We need to score more goals, and we need to find a way for our good play, our dominance we have at times, to result it in more goals, and that is what we're working on.
Jonathan, you must enjoy hearing that from a manager who clearly has his head screwed on and will not come to you knowing that the prices are overinflated for a striker. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Well, absolutely, yes, and of course there's a limit to what we can afford, and we're in the bottomless pockets, unfortunately. Fulham, Norwich have got an advantage on us because they've got higher parachute payments, and they had higher income last year from the Premier League than we did the season before. So as Uwe says, we have to do it in a different way. But I think to get a player that scored 13 goals in La Liga last season for just over £2 million, I think is a really good purchase. We'll find out in the coming weeks. And certainly in pre-season he looks a really good prospect. It looks like he's going to score the goals for us. And as Uwe says, goals wins with promotion. So it's important that we get the right players in, but of course we have to do it within our financial structure, as every club does, and some of the prices that's being paid for strikers these days in the Championship shows how desperate people are to get promoted, because in our view they are paying more than the value of the player, but that's up to them really, and we have to compete against that. But I think that collectively, as a team and with our manager, we'll be right up there.
I think it's also important when you're playing a 4-3-3 that the wide players have to contribute with more goals. And I think Callum is one of them. He probably had his best pre-season he had ever. I think he looks very good. He's fit. He's ready to go. He knows it's a very important season for him. And in terms of
very well with that.
No, I know. No. Sabotage. No, I think I expect a lot from Callum. He has to really prove himself this season, from being a player who played mostly in home games and not so much in away games. And like he did last year, he really has to nail down his place. And I asked him to do his homework in the summer. What he did, he came back in a shape what I was hoping for. I didn't expect it, but I was hoping for, and obviously he did. But made me very happy for a change. And he came through a hard pre-season with no injury problems, and he did all the games, and he had got a lot of minutes, and I expect from the wider areas and from midfield as well, from midfield more goals, more willingness to attack the box, and having James MacArthur will be used in the end of the season more as a number 6, as a holder in midfield, because Ben was out, Chris McCann was out. When we get in James MacArthur high up in the pitch, he's capable of scoring 10 goals a season.
Do you give your players targets in terms of goals? Do you say you need to get me 10 goals, 15 goals?
I did it last year with Adam Forshaw. I said, you have to score 8 goals and we win promotion. And he scored 8. And they won promotion. So I will tell the same thing to James MacArthur and Callum McManaman then.
First of all, Jonathan, thanks for listening to the spectators for the Queen's Park Rangers game regarding the coaches. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Are we looking to get some loan players in, possibly going back for Powell again? Who had a really good start to his time at Wigan, and alright, things went a bit pear-shaped, but he was a good lad, but he just lost his way.
First part of your question, yes, we go back to the loan market, because there will be players available who can help us after the transfer window will close. That is the advantage of being in the Football League. And Nick, I think Nick is one of the most talented players I ever worked with. I think when I came to the football club, Nick was fantastic. He played very well for me. He contributed with goals. His work ethic was very, very good in games. In training sometimes I closed one eye, but in games I felt he was phenomenal physical attributes and technical attributes for a player. Then he got injured, Middlesbrough, and then he struggled after comeback. I felt the injury took too long time, and then after he came back, he struggled to find his form. He lost a little bit his confidence, and he lost a little bit his focus and his concentration, and that is where things didn't went to plan. I still rate Nick Powell very highly. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him right for the end of the season where we really, really needed him, and that was a shame. We see what is out there. We always looking after 125 players out there permanently. We're about to say 120, so we're looking after 125 permanently and evaluating the market, and that is obviously still an interesting prospect.
We'll do another 15 minutes or so if there is anything you want to ask, get your hand up, and now is the time. We'll get Greg really doing some relay runs for the last 15 minutes or so. Yes, a young lady on the left.
We had to cancel one of our pre-season friendlies because we had a lot of players injured. What does it look like injury-wise for the start of the season?
How is the injury situation you've at the moment?
Yes, I think it's getting much better. So I think we could have played the game, but the game was always planned. The main games in Germany was a Saturday Düsseldorf, Friday Paderborn, and on a Tuesday was planned for the players who were not starting either of the both games to give them match minutes. So, but we came to a point that we didn't have a second 11 for that game. So basically the guys should have played another game on the top of it. I felt there was too much. We apologized to them. I saw their CEO of the club, and he made an arrangement. I think that was precautionary. Now, and James McArthur's back, Cowie's back, Maloney's back, Rob Keenan is back, Chris McCann is trained today, but he's not available for the game on Saturday, but he is in training now with us. So we have everybody, Andrew Taylor's back, so we have more or less everybody available now.
Very positive answer. Who else have we got? Where are we?
Right.
Hello. Yes, sir.
My question regarding the goalkeepers was, do you have first choice in mind? Because I think we've got 3 goalkeepers that could easily be our number 1 this season.
I think it will go between Ali and Scott. Both of them being in goal in pre-season, equally amount of match minutes. I had a good look at them over the 6.5 weeks or 6 weeks till now. I will speak to them both on Friday, and then we will make a decision for the first game.
You'll make a decision that late? You don't know already?
I know for the first game, yeah. I think I have to speak to my players first. I think there is a sort of respect.
I think that's absolutely fair enough. Yes, sir.
Gents, which, in terms of your playing style, which was your favourite game last season? Which game did you feel that you played exactly to your style?
The one game from last year, you thought, yes, that was it.
I was very surprised how quick the team took what I wanted when we played Bolton the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes against Bolton at home, I felt it was magnificent. It was 2-0 up. I think we steamrolled them in every way. Unfortunately, after 35 minutes, we ran out of steam. so I didn't expect that. I think Reading home was in many ways a game where I felt we looked very, very strong. Away from home, Forest, where we've been very compact and very good on the counter-attack. I think Ipswich, we have been against a very difficult place to go. We looked very good. I think we had certain games in the FA Cup where we not completely, but the game plan was different. We played a possession game in our own half, knowing that the opposition probably will not pressure us. We run down the clock, and I think that it worked very well against Manchester City and Arsenal, against teams who normally people would not give us a chance. And we reached the semi-finals and missed out on penalties. So there was a lot of positive things. I felt when we lost Ben Watson and when we lost Chris McCann, I think we suffered a little bit in midfield. We didn't have the mix, the combination of football and power and energy, what is needed in that league. We had to adjust a different style of play. In the end of the season, we had players in midfield. There was Geordie, there was Maloney, there was Josh McEachran, Jim Collins. There's completely different players, in my opinion, than Chris McCann. So we needed to find a way to use those players the best possible way for us. That is why we also felt we needed to be brought in the third centre half to build up more from the back, to get those players more on the ball. There was thinking behind it, and in general I would like to play a good mix between powerful, quick transition football, but also short, quick passes, especially forward passes. I'm not so interested to have a lot of amount of possession deep in our own half. I would like to have possession in the opposition half, and I'd like to win the ball high up in the field, like we did, for example, against Bolton, where we forced the opposition to mistakes in their half by pressurizing them collectively. But to do that, you need a higher level of fitness, and you need 11 players, not only 10, 11 players to keep included, to be willing to work in that style.
We'll take a few more, so get your arm in the air. A couple down here, gentlemen at the back as well. Just keep your arm up. We'll get the microphone round as quick as we can over the next 10 minutes or so. Yes, sir, at the front.
Right, as a result of listening to your answers, you've got an impossible job. You don't get paid enough because you've got to be a manager, a coach, a motivator, a counsellor as a result of what you said about Jordan Gomez. You've got to be an accountant because you have to keep an eye on the balance sheet. You've got to be a medical man because of the injuries. You've got to be diplomatic. The way how you answer the question about Grant Home, you made really bad news sound good.
Is this your
Can you tell that Jonathan, please? Jonathan, you're listening.
I couldn't hear a thing, these microphones.
And you need to be a man as well. Tell me what happened to Scott.
My wife.
He wants the microphone back now.
You should have said that because I actually said 3 seats away from you there.
Okay. And what's she like doing again? Oh, he wants the microphone back again now?
She sometimes brings along, as you know, Colin Bell. And Tony's book as well. It's Norwegian. And that's all I'll say.
Good.
There's a gentleman at the back and a few down here, so people running around. Is it tough to get the work-family balance when your job is so demanding? It's a problem, not just...
I think for me,
obviously.
one of my biggest aims is to be obviously as successful as I can be, but also to be a good husband. And I think to combine that both and find that time and use that limited time you have to have quality time, I think that's a big challenge in my profession. But I have a very understanding family who support me through everything and allow me to go ahead with my dream.
Question for you there again. You just mentioned briefly about the FA Cup result against Manchester City. Just wanted to know what it felt like for yourself going back to them so early in your career after spending so long as a player there.
First and foremost, it was a game of football where I wanted to measure myself with my team against the best in the country. And I think my players did tremendously well. And I felt and that game that had shown me really the potential that was in that team. You know, what we had delivered there. And obviously there's a history between me and the club. But I was just focused so much on prepare my team and get a result. I was thinking we get a result there. Graham Burrows helped me a lot with the tactics. Spoke a lot about the tactics Roberto had against City, and we copied one or two things, but we also had elements from our way of thinking in there, and I think the whole package, plus the fact that the players really enjoyed themselves going to the Etihad and really enjoyed themselves to play that game, that made it a fantastic win for us. And in the end, probably got cost us in terms of maybe winning promotion, this FA Cup, because the Arsenal game took so much out of us in terms of physicality. We had to go 120 minutes, we had to do run more than them. In terms of mentally, going through a penalty shootout, being at Wembley, get the goal, we was 8 minutes away from going into the final and then losing on penalties. So mentally and physically that game took massively out of us. You could see also the results after the results dipped. and that shows the character of the team. We come back, we looked like we worked so hard to come into the playoffs, and then at some stage we looked like, what happened now? We can fall out again. And then the mental strength that we worked hard again, and we got the win against Birmingham, what I felt was a great win. And then in the playoffs there's always a little bit of lottery, but I think we over 2 legs, I really felt it was the better team. We should have been 2-0 up in the game. We should have won the game 1-0 at home, and QPR had no chance whatsoever. We had 3 good chances. On that level, you need also a little bit of luck. And you see QPR completely outplayed from Derby, and 1 chance, bang, goal, and win the jackpot. So I think the team, you have to give the players enormously credit for 62 games throughout 10 months, and make up that ground. I think, and this cup run was a fantastic achievement from the player.
We'll take 3 more and then let the guys go and have a break and have a drink. So here we go. Yes, sir.
Hi, question for you, Vay. After James McLean's performance last season away at QPR, where he's immense up front with his work rate and his battling, is there any thoughts to maybe convert him into a permanent striker?
I said in the beginning, we 4-3-3, then obviously James is competing on the left hand side, and when we play 3-5-2, James is definitely the option for us up front. I think it's not only shown that in the game against QPR. I felt when we played away Sheffield Wednesday, when the game was called off. By the way, that was a very good game as well. I thought he was excellent on the day. He played up front in the 2. James is a very energetic player. I think sometimes he's like a wild horse. You just need to unleash him and let him run. So I think when he plays in the 2 up front, he feels more free. When he plays on the side, he's probably a little bit restricted because of his position. I think James is giving us this pace, what we need in our team, this pace and directness. And obviously we miss him. He's not fit for the start of the season. He twisted his ankle. What can happen? But we will see him soon back.
I quite like to be described as a wild horse, just in life generally. Penultimate question, gentleman at the back in the black and white t-shirt.
After QPR last year, it was all very tasty, but how did you as a manager pick your own players up from that?
I was in the dressing room. I think everybody was down because I think we worked very, very hard, and in that moment you not find always the right words. I think everybody needed to go away on holiday to overcome that situation. I had that situation the year before in Brentford, so I was stood there, had my head down, and Sean Maloney came to me. Gaffer, don't worry, we get it right. Don't you? Gaffer, come on, Gaffer, we get it right. And I was thinking, oh my God, you know.
So players console you.
Yeah.
What a gent.
Absolutely brilliant. I think players come back from holiday, and I felt they are ready to go again. So I see the tension rising. I saw a better performance against Paderborn, and now today it was a good training, and I think we are ready to go again.
Right, final question from the floor. You better make it a good one.
I just wondered who picked the order of the penalty takers in the Arsenal game. Was it yourself, or did you let the players decide?
That is a good question.
Gary Powell going first.
Is that hard for managers? Because the players you may want, that you may have a list in your head, they have to want to step up and do it.
People ask me why you're not at practice penalties before you play Arsenal, and I was thinking the last thing I should worry going into a semi-final at Wembley against Arsenal is about penalties, because I had to I had only 3 days or 4 days to prepare. I had to prepare about the shape, about tactical things, and I'm not saying that I blamed myself a little bit and I had not had put another half an hour to it, but I always felt with that amount of games I wanted to just get the main points across. And to be honest, I didn't thought that would be a case. I thought we win it in 19. Yeah, I know he scored from the penalty spot, but obviously Jordi had missed 2 penalties before that. He took the one, he was not supposed to take it in the game. There was another player, but he took it, and I said, okay, he takes responsibility, and he converted. And I felt if Gary was fresh, everybody else was fatigued, especially Jordi, who had to run a lot in midfield and to cover a lot of ground, and I felt, okay, I get mentally strongest player we probably have in Gary, and fresh, and he was ready. That was what I was thinking. Just let him start. Yeah. I'm not blaming any player whatsoever. You always, in hindsight, you always can say you do things different. But that was the thinking behind. But to be honest, I have not put training session on to do penalties. Before the QPR game, we had training sessions. I can promise you that. But we couldn't make it into the penalties.
I fancy this gentleman thinks he might be sitting in this seat himself next year. Just as a very final thought from me, we're almost there, both you and Jonathan, at the start of the season. I can sense everyone inside the marquee here at the CW is buzzing for it and cannot wait to get going again. Just as a final thought to get us really excited, it's 2 minutes before kick-off. You've said what you need to say to your players, you're getting ready to come out, you're taking your seat, and we're ready to go. I want to know what your emotions are, what you are thinking at 2 minutes to 3 o'clock.
I'll be just like everyone in this room. My heart will be pumping. I'll be excited. I'll be looking forward to a fantastic season this season. The last season, the support from you guys was amazing. From Oakwell to Loftus Road and Russia and Slovenia in between, it was amazing. And thank you all for coming out tonight, supporting Wigan Athletic, supporting Joseph's goal. Really appreciate it. But this Saturday it starts again for real, and I think just going back to the previous question, I was sitting in the tunnel at Loftus Road after we got knocked out and after QPR finished celebrating, and Gary Caldwell came out to the dressing room and he said to me, right Jonathan, next season starts right now. And I think that's the mentality that we've taken right from that game. We put it behind us straight away. We knew we were that close to being in the Premier League, and this season we intend to go that one step further and give you a season to be proud of.
And those final moments for you, the gaffer, before the first match of the season, where you can say no more and do no more, it's up to the players. Just give us an insight into how that feels for you as you make your way out of the tunnel and take your seat in the dugout and the new technical area.
I think before the first game you probably have to calm down the players a little bit, because they had worked now for 6.5 weeks, extremely hard, and the majority of the players are good prepared in terms of not only for the rain but also for 10 months. And it's just to calm them down and focusing on the 1 or 2 or 3 points we have and just play our way of football. And I think there's a general belief that we can do it. I think we had the same belief last season, and I think nothing has changed. And I think we have a strong squad when everybody's on board, and I think we have a camaraderie what will guide us through difficult patches throughout the season. And that belief and strength that the players should show going out against Reading and play the football we can play, and just enjoy themselves. I always say play football with enjoyment and show what you can do.
Ladies and gentlemen, they've been absolutely fabulous company this evening. I'm sure you'll all wish them the very best for the start of the new season, which is almost here. We will carry on, of course, with an auction, a raffle and a quiz as well. But for now, please show your gratitude, appreciation and wish good luck to Latics Chief Executive Jonathan Jackson and the gaffer, UK Rosler.